very disturbing, Madhu Rao. It is absolutely true that at institutes like the Indian Institute of Science, and I use this only to make a larger point, there are top national experts who are researching these issues. You aren't speaking with them, you aren't engaging with them. The viewer who's watching at this time will go away thinking that your government is in cahoots with the building construction lobby, which is why in areas that used to be lakes, you now have unplanned construction. A 1,055% increase in concrete area just over the last decade and a half, which is why, as Dr. Ramachandra says, the water has nowhere to go.
Rahul, good evening. First of all, I couldn't have agreed more with Mr. Ramachandra. And let me tell you one thing. I do not want to sound like a politician or sounding from a political party, but it's very impertinent for us to know actually what the reason is. And if I were to take all the cue from what Ramachandra sir has told now, I again go back to the fact of asking myself a question as to who are responsible for this. I get reminded, see, let us try to understand the topography of Bangalore. I know you will ask me some political questions, but before that, let me put a caveat and ask, I just want to clarify a few things. See, there are three major valleys in Bangalore. That's one of the Vishbhavati Valley and the KC Valley and the Hubbali Valley. Now, if you're taking that, if you're thinking as to why there is a lot of flooding which is happening over the ring road, or for that matter, the Sarjapura and Marathalli, that road, it's a fact that was the linkage which has happened to the KC Valley. And unfortunately, there have been some unfortunately given concessions, rather to say approvals for building of so many buildings, and that is one of the reason also. And kindly bear with me, we have never seen rains like this in past 75 to 90 years. I mean, just look at the data. I mean, I do not want to sound very obvious in this. Just look at the data. In 1998, we had got 387 mm of rains. But now, in August, we got 370 mm of rains. I mean, it's equal to the highest average. So therefore,
Dr. Ramachandra, do you buy that argument that these are unprecedented times, that there is rainfall which we haven't seen in 100 years, and therefore don't blame the government and the state? Rahul, just one second, Madhu. Madhu, you've made a point. Let's get an expert's counter and then take it from there. That there is nothing we can do because this is really God unleashing His fury. We can do. No, one second. I'm coming back to you.
No, Rahul, this is what I said. Global warming is real and changes in climate is happening. Sure. You talked about 340 mm rainfall today. If you get 500 mm tomorrow, don't we get surprised? We need to be wake up and we need to get prepared for that. That is what has to be done. Let us not give excuses and run away. This is what is happening over the last 15 years. You know, lakes have to be interconnected if you want the water to flow in the system. And also, when you look at the kind of the program these people will come up with, for example, illogical Mekedatu project they have come up. When we have 15 TMC of rainwater in the city, we could have rejuvenated the lake and retained that rainwater, which would have met 70% of our demand. Our demand in the city, water requirement is 18 TMC. You know, 18 TMC of water, if we are using, we are also generating 18 TMC of wastewater. If we have treated, we have 15 TMC because of rainwater and the 16 TMC because of treated wastewater. We would have had 31 TMC. Instead of doing that, rainwater, rejuvenating the lake or wastewater treatment, we want to build a dam at Mekedatu. You know, if you look at Mekedatu, we are going to submerge 5,000 hectares of forest land. If you look at the forest lands have been doing the ecosystem service, hydrological services, they help in the infiltrating 100 TMC of water. But these people want to submerge that 100 TMC worth the forest land and construct a cement dam there to store 65 TMC of water. See, what is the justification for spending 5,000 crore on such illogical project? Why cannot we divert that money for the rejuvenating the lake? That is what Mahatma Gandhi talked about.
But it's a
decentralized harvesting
case
of the
of
water.
Flawed priorities. You're spending on infrastructure, you aren't spending on conservation, you aren't spending on ecology, you aren't spending on saving the lakes, which is why you're having to deal, Madhu, with God's fury.
Rahul, on the point of why action has not been taken, let me tell you, just recently, just about few days back, as Mr. Ramachandra was also telling, The BBMP has identified 696 encroachments along the stormwater drains, and the action has already been taken. Now, kindly bear with me. Now, these are all things which has happened. Now, suppose if you want to go and demolish it also, would you not be surprised that people will go and take stay for the demolition drive? Now, that is happening. But nevertheless, government after after a lot of thinking which has happened, they are demolishing whatever has been built along the buffer zone. I think Mr. Ramachandra sir also will be accepting this. Efforts have been made to take, but the point of fact I just want to make is that it is unprecedented. One, unprecedented drains. Second, illogical approvals which have been given in the previous governments. Now, how do we deal with it? That's what I'm trying to ask you. Third, there have also been lot of lake rejuvenation which had to happen, which never happened. In fact, I was just going through the because it's easier to pinpoint the present government. Fair enough, but kindly also bear with me. The same Siddaramaiah on 16th October 2017, he himself made a point. Yes, there has to be rejuvenation of lakes, but what did it happen? The point is this: that at a point of time, if you want to think that what is the action to be taken, if you are taking an action to demolish certain things, people will go to court. At the same time, the building, or rather the activities of the building has to happen. The roads have to be constructed.